Welcome to part 2 of our 1-year anniversary celebrations. In this part, you hear Coach Mwalimu explain what coaching really is and the difference between coaching, therapy, consultation, and other fields. This will help you to understand so much about coaching. Thank you for watching.
We are getting to the climax of this event. Congratulations, Abby, at 40. I'm almost getting there. Life has begun. Life begins at 40. Sindio? We are touching some grace here, and this grace is Mr. Gacohi. Let's give it up for him as he come. Karibu kwa stage. Asante sana. You know, I was told a life coach is different from a counselor.
Yes, I will even explain that.
And I was also told that a life coach is different from a pastor.
Yes.
So our behavior and yours are different.
Yeah, exactly.
Mimi ningebebewa Bible na laptop. Lakini wewe ni life coach. Makofi mazuri kwa Mr. Gacohi tafadhali. We may be seated. Please, thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Apostle. Good evening. Praise the Lord. Yes, my name is not Gacohi, it is Gacohi. And for those of you who may not understand, when you hear certain names, they are names like Wanjohi, Gacohi, Mureu, Munyui, Kenywa, Kegwa. All those people are people around the pot. If you understand what that means. But mine is the biblical quantity. It is Gacohi. The quantity that Paul wrote to Timothy and told him, don't merely take just water. That little is now the Gacohi. So I'm Gacohi, yeah, or yeah, like that one for the Holy Communion. Mine is Gacohi. It is not Gacohi. It's not Wanjohi. It is none of that. It's just the little Gacohi. I am born again. Jesus Christ is my Lord and Savior, and I thank God for the privilege, Abigail, for inviting me to come and share with these great men and women who are here. And your son, my friend, hey, powerful, you know, short but very powerful speech. Hey, congratulations, high five. Yeah, yeah. I came to know this couple not a long time ago. We in the same church. We fellowship with CITAM, and recently they have a group that we call MCCG, and I can see some members of the MCCG here. And we were invited. That is Marriage Care and Counseling Group. Is that the meaning of MCC? You know, CITAM we are with so many. Yeah, care group. Yeah, not counseling. Which was held in their place, a very beautiful home, and I was happy to meet. I think Evans, that was my first time to meet you. At least for her, I had met her in church a few times. I liked the dog that they have. They have a very beautiful dog, very nice dog, you know, and that also tells you that I'm a lover of dogs. So anyway, I am married. My wife could not be able to come. She's doing what also we do in another group in Buraha Zenoni. That's where she went, and then after that she was going to do counseling of 2 different students at different times, and that is why we are not together here. I don't want to take so much time. I just want to talk about the impact and the importance of life and leadership coaching, and I will explain what Apostle has just said in a short while. Therefore, we want to look at the transformative power that is there in leadership coaching, in life coaching, and both for in a personal life and in professional life. And therefore, I would want us to look at the first, just 4 points, and then we'll almost be done. The first one is understanding coaching. And I don't want to bore you with a lot of academic definitions because we can do that. I'm also doing leadership coaching, or rather leadership studies. I'm a student of leadership And one of the things that we do is we do a lot of definitions. You can't explain something before you define it. And so it is a bit, I don't want to give very academic, so to say, but you'll allow me, also being an academician, to mention one or two. We'd want to say coaching is a partnership between two people. And one of them is the coach, and the other person is coaching. And this one here is the focus for that relationship is actually enabling the individual, that is the coachee, the person who has gone to the coach, to enable that individual achieve both personal and professional development. You know, that is basically what coaching is all about. But I told you, I will give you one academic one. According to Kilberg and Dedrich, 2019. Now, I hope nobody is feeling like they're back to the university. Eh? Coaching entails a collaborative effort between the coach and the coachee aimed at assessing and understanding the coachee's developmental needs. So I hope we are not lost. So, and we're saying this process involves, number one, challenging, and I'm happy when you are explaining that, challenging existing constraints. It's your brother who said that when you are, you know, sometimes you'd ask, maybe you need to change the lenses with which you are looking at a situation. That one is challenging existing constraints, also exploring strategies to overcome obstacles, and at the same time ensuring accountability and support to assist the coachee in achieving their goals and sustaining development. That's a very long definition, but basically what we are saying, and I will say that, is that a coach helps you, number one, in setting your own personal goals or professional goals. And then looking at, as you set those goals, where are you? You know, you are setting the goals, but where are you basically? And then after you have said where you have analyzed where you are with the help of the coach, then the next thing is, what is it that you can be able to do to go to where you are going? You know, in other words, you set the goals, what we call SMART goals, goals that are very specific, that are measurable, that are achievable, that are realistic and within a time frame. So you set those goals, and then the coach actually basically offers you what we call SEA. Gives you support, gives you encouragement, and it becomes your accountability partner. And I would want to say that there are so many people who set goals in this world. Actually, there is nobody who doesn't set goals at one time or the other, including the goals for the church. Maybe a strategic plan for the next 20 years. I hope it's not less than 20 years. Okay, now, a strategic plan, because the others is, you know, day to day, if at all it's less than that. Basically, we are saying, and we need sometimes each and every one of us, even to call ourselves to a meeting as an individual. And when you call yourself for a meeting, please ensure that you take minutes for that meeting. Hey, hello? Hey, are we communicating? Because a meeting without minutes is simply a gathering. You are meeting with yourself, but even as you meet with yourself, then you also ensure that you journal. You write down the things that you are thinking. That is what you do. But when you set those goals, there is need for somebody to give you support. There is need for somebody to give you encouragement, and for you, that person to be, to give you accountability, to be an accountability partner. I want to give you a very simple example of where people set those goals. Almost every year, there is something that we call New Year resolutions. But I don't know how many of us have achieved the resolutions that you set at the beginning of this year. And the reason why many people don't achieve, because those resolutions, I would want to consider them to be goals. The reason why majority of us are not able to achieve those goals is because sometimes we get discouraged. All of us at one time or the other, we may get discouraged. You need support. You need encouragement. But again, when there is nobody who is holding us accountable, then Whether we achieve them or we don't achieve them, nobody will know. And therefore, we continue on with life. And that is why it is very, very important. I would want to say a few key differences between a few things. One, and Apostle, you mentioned that, between coaching, mentoring, therapy, that is counseling, and consulting. We need to differentiate that. Number one is the goal. The goal of coaching is empowering individual to achieve their goals. You know, you are empowered to achieve your goals. Please note that this is very, I will go through it very fast. Mentoring, the goal of mentoring is guiding less experienced people or individuals based on your personal experience. When you're mentoring somebody, it means, number one, you are a better person at that skill. You are a better person at doing that. You can never mentor somebody who is less experienced. Or rather, when you are less experienced, you cannot, if you are more experienced, it's only when you can mentor the less experienced. That is about mentoring. When it comes to counseling or therapy for that matter, it is healing and addressing mental health issues. Like, for example, if you're going through depression. When you're going through depression, you know, don't go to a coach, because coach might end up challenging you. And when, by the way, we have to be doing some of those things with my wife. I myself being a coach, she's a professional counselor. And then I say, for example, a couple comes to us, and the questions that I'm asking, my wife later on tells me, in counseling, would feel like you are almost attacking that person. You know, because I am challenging. You know, I am challenging, you know, what Coach Abby said, we're challenging your perception. You know, you're challenging. Is it right? What you are saying, is it actually, is there a different way of looking at it? When I ask those questions now myself as a coach, she feels like it's almost like I'm attacking the person who is coming for therapy. So therapy, this, by the way, we say a very simple difference between coaching and counseling is, while coaching deals with functional people, counseling deals with dysfunctional people. It is people who have reached the very end. So in other words, we are saying, especially healing, they need addressing health issues. The other one is consulting. What's the difference? Consulting provides expert advice to solve specific particular problems. If there is, like, if you called one time, you can, that one can be done even in the church. A few years ago, the CITAM engaged some consultants, look at a few processes, and amongst other things that they recommended is that we already have too many employees within CITAM, and some of the people who are gotten rid of is pastors. And we were new in Nakuru, and we were hard hit, you know, let alone it had. So basically, consultant will give to his own advice. But again, when you're doing when you receive the advice from a consultant, it is your choice to apply what you're told or not. Okay. Now, the second thing is, so that is as far as the goals are concerned. The second thing is about the nature of relationship. Coaching is collaborative and non-directive. In other words, Coach Abby will not tell you do A, B, C, D. You'll never be told what to do. It is you to examine, and then she'll ask powerful questions and ask the question, from what we have discussed, what are you going to do? It is not telling you, it is non-directive. Now, when it comes to mentoring, it is directive and advisory, because this is an expert. It is directive. When it comes to therapy, it is clinical and therapeutic. But when it comes to counseling, it's also advisory, just like mentoring, and solution oriented. Now, that difference is time frame. Coaching is often short to mid-term. You know, it can be very short, as much as short as only one session. It can be as long as a process ongoing. Like, for example, you are coaching certain students to achieve the very best within 4 years. You know, that's why I've said it can be a short term to a long term. depending on the goals. But mentoring is usually long term. You cannot mentor somebody using one session. The other thing is therapy can also be short term or it can be long term, depending. Like, for example, my brother, I hope you notice the language used, and that is the language that all recovering people stay. If you go to David Ogin, not David Ogin, David Ogot, David Ogot, and you listen to him speak, he will tell you, I'm a recovering alcoholic. Yet he has not been on alcohol for more than 20 years now. But he will tell you, I am recovering. So basically what we are saying is this, that therapy can actually also be very, very long term. And let me give a few typical scenarios for each one of them. In coaching is, for example, when you want to enhance leadership skills. You want to enhance the leadership skills within an organization or for you as an individual. It can also be improving work-life balance, you know, and that one is a very critical issue. Or achieving certain career goals. That one is all that you can actually go to a coach. Mentoring is career development, skill acquisition, professional growth, but in a specific field. You can never be mentored by a doctor to be a teacher. It's only a teacher who can mentor another teacher. It's only a person within the law profession who can be a lawyer. That is why they go for something we call pupillage. You know, after they have learned all the laws, they go for pupillage. Okay, therapy is cases for the therapy includes things like depression or anxiety, things like trauma. Like recently when my Mahio happened, you know, the landslide in my Mahio, we sent a group of people. I went there. I never got involved because I am not a counselor. But we went there with the counselors, because when people have gone through trauma, or if there is relationship issues or emotional distress, those are cases for counseling. But for consulting is things like business strategy, things like process optimization, market analysis, organizational change, and so on. Now, there are two main key. There are several niches of coaching, but two main key areas. One of them is life coaching, which is very wide, and the other one is leadership coaching. Allow me to go to point number 2, the role of a life or leadership coach, the role of a coach. One is personal development. Personal development, we have already mentioned that. It is to help you as an individual identify and clarify your personal goals. Sometimes we think that we have goals, but they need some clarity, even to ourselves. They need some clarity, and they need to for you to identify. And of course, I have said to provide support in overcoming the obstacles and building self-confidence. The support will not be that when you go to Coach Abby and you want to start a business, she will not support you with giving you the loan. You go to the bank. Hey, hello? Are we communicating? You source that, but definitely at one time or the other, there are times when you feel, am I really doing the right thing? Am I on the right path? And you know, you'll be helped to be able to analyze that. And of course, to encourage a balanced life and improve the well-being. We would also want to say professional development also. This is to enhance, for example, your leadership skills, to also, like for example, communication, like for example, delegation, like for example, strategic thinking. And thinking and mindsets is a very, very major area in coaching. And I would want to give a very simple example. I don't know whether he knew he was actually coaching, but all of us know this case of Moses and his father-in-law Jethro. When Jethro went and observed, the first thing that he did, he observed. We are not told anywhere where Jethro was a leader himself, and therefore, with all probability, he was not doing this as an expert. So he was not doing mentoring. Hey, hello? Are we communicating? Jethro was not doing mentoring. Yes, he was not doing mentoring. What he did is he observed his son-in-law do all the cases throughout the day. And then later on, he told him, what you are doing is not good. It will tire you, both you and these people. And he gave another perspective. Why don't you look for people who can be able to do some of these small cases on your behalf? So basically, that's why we are saying that it is enhancing leadership skills and also assist in navigating organizational challenges, and particularly more so when there is need for change in the organization. Coaching also helps, especially when for an organization, also helps in promoting high performance and productivity within the organization. It's something that is very, very critical. I may not go into that. Now, let me mention some areas of life where coaching is very helpful. Just a few areas. That means, therefore, I am on my number 3. I said 4 and we'll be done. I am on my number 3. Number 1, we have already said, is goal setting and action planning. If you want to set your own, in the process of goal setting, you actually need the services of a coach. Secondly is stress management. There is a thin line there between counseling and coaching. But for the coach will help you to understand and to analyze what is causing the stress within you and how can you be able to overcome that. The therapist will come, the counselor will come because you're already overly stressed and you need now to get rid of that stress. But that's why I've said is one. Of course, things like life-work balance. This one here, I've found myself quite a good number of times involved because there are people, especially teaching profession, who are pursuing money. They are pursuing mini-grid for the school until they neglect their own families. And this is also very common, whereby you find many times when we are in pursuit of money, but we forget that we have relationships. And friends, if you forget anything else, don't forget what I'm about to say. We normally say many times when we are dealing with the issues of parenting with my wife, that what you invest in your child is much more valuable than what you invest for them. And Evans and Abby, thank you so much. Your son himself, if there is a testimonial that has been so powerful, is what he said, including self-affirmation, those self-affirmation confessions. And I'm sure they are very, very helpful. Right now, those of you who know my children are quite assertive. By the way, they are very assertive by the grace of God. But right now, I have 2 nieces who have come to stay with me when the school's closed. One of them, we have realized she's very, very timid. And she's the older one, very timid. My wife just yesterday, after she asked her, told her, and please, don't fear. When we are here, don't fear asking me. Because I'm seeing as if you kind of fear. And tears now welled up in her eyes. Now, when we went to the bedroom, my wife told me, I think for this holiday, I am going to work with that girl because for whatever reason, I think she's too timid. Self-affirmation helps people not to become timid. Even though you can be able to see our young son here, standing up there and addressing you because it helps, self-awareness and so on. Okay, I'm taking too much time. What you invest in your children is much more valuable, including the values that you put in them. It is much more valuable than what you put in, ile unawekeza kwa ajili yao. I don't know whether those of us who have ever attended any burial, you have ever gone to a burial, and in the eulogy towards the end, inasemekana huyu ameacha mashamba ekari 100, magari 5 na majumba 12. Sijui ni nani ashai kusikia kitu kama hiyo. Nobody talks about that wealth, but it will be said, this man who is lying here has left behind a wife, 5 children, and 10 or 15 grandchildren, and maybe 3 great grandchildren. My auntie passed on the other day, And it was in a barrio. I can still remember that. People even got surprised. She left behind 11 children, 56 grandchildren, and 73 great-grandchildren, and 5 great-great-grandchildren. You know, when it was mentioned like that, people actually clapped and he said, this is not even a funeral. Why? Because the most important things that we leave behind is the people we were related to. It is not necessarily the material wealth. So what will a coach help you to do? Do some bit of life-work balance. I digress there because I feel it's important. And of course, also to help you build resilience in your life and self-awareness, for leadership development, plans and performance metrics, conflict resolution, and negotiation strategies. All these, I'm sure that the coach can be able to help you do that. Now, lastly, number 4. Number 4, now we are on number 4. I'm a teacher. I hope you also realize that. And I love teaching. I came to understand my divine calling to be a teacher when I was in high school. That is why even when I qualified to take medicine, I still insisted to go and become a teacher. Some of my cousins have never forgiven me. Sometimes I also feel I should have taken medicine because probably I could be having much more. Anyway, what we are saying here is this. We are on number 4. And we don't want to say benefit. Number one is clarity and direction in personal and professional life. We have said that there is going to be clarity. The issue of clarity and direction in personal and professional life is very, very, very important. And I believe that we heard from Edna, and the lady, I've forgotten her name, sorry. Gertrude, yeah, and from Gertrude. And if you hear them say, you can find a situation whereby they found clarity and direction. That is why she could be able to see, now I am a happy wife. I am a happy business lady. So increase confidence and self-esteem. And again, I want to borrow from Gertrude, who said a few months ago, she could not stand in front of people the way she did. That is actually increased confidence and self-esteem. And of course, I have already mentioned better work balance and stress management. You are able to manage your stress. And for organizations, for those of us who are, whether it is a business or maybe you are employed somewhere, there is improved leadership and team performance. Secondly, there is increased employee engagement and retention. Sometimes we call this organizational ownership behavior, whereby the members, the people who are working there, they feel they own the organization. You know, it is like their own. You know, they feel that I guess the best example in this country that I can think of off my head is Equity Bank. Equity Bank, they used to even this sometimes back a security officer at the entrance, and when you're getting in, anakwambia karibu member. You know, you're made to feel you are a member. You know, you are a member. You have already gone there to keep your money, but they are calling you member. I think those are some of those things. And of course, enhanced organizational culture. So in conclusion, I want to say a few things. Number one, I want to call all of us to action, because I would want to urge all of us to consider coaching for ourselves as well as the organizations in which we are in. The testimonials that were there, right from the son to Edna to Gertrude, is actually enough to tell us we need this thing at one time or the other. I myself have sought the services of a counselor at one time. We have sought the services of a coach at another time. Actually, the services of a coach is much more often. So I would want to call upon all of us to consider. And because now we are with Coach Abby here, I want you to consider going to Coach Abby. And if at all she is not available, Coach Mwalimu. Hey, hello? Yeah, we are saying I would want, or any other coach for that matter. My first time to hear this is a relatively new profession. Coaching is a relatively new profession. My first time to hear this was in 2012, when Coach Irene Moreithi of PDI, Personal Development Institute, and now TKC, whom I follow very, very closely, actually came to Nakuru to speak. And I felt this is the thing that I really want to do. And that is why even I took a little bit earlier. The other thing is this. Many times, the other thing that I want to call for action, many times we have people who need the services of a coach. However, you hear every other parent telling somebody, I would want you to talk with my son. I would want you to talk with my daughter. I want to explain something small here. I don't know the school where Coach Abby went to, but I can tell you, for her to get to be a professional coach, it is not easy and it is not cheap. The cheapest that I have known or I have had, they will charge 400,000 shillings onwards. The cheapest, 400,000. So here is a situation whereby my experience is now, where somebody tells you, I want you to talk to my son. But the very moment that you get now in coaching we are free to tell you our charges before we engage. By the way, even signing an engagement contract, so to say. Counseling, I have realized with my wife, is almost standard somewhere. You know, it is standardized. And the other day, somebody who is going through training of coaching or of counseling, she was telling me it is so draining that I think that counselors should be paid much more than they are being paid. It's very, very draining. Now, for the coaches, I am saying, let us know it is not merely talking. Hey, hello? Sio kuongea. By the way, that coach, that talking, Edna, when you sat down and you are talking, the reason why she was able to talk to you like no other person had talked to you is because she is a professional. She's, you know, sometimes we are confused with the people we call motivational speakers. Hey, hello? If you get motivated by what I'm saying, well and good, thank God, glory be to God. But I'm not here as a motivational speaker. And I'm sure that that's not what she does. Hey, are we communicating? So let us consider, it's very, very important for us to consider that. And it is many times, I'm saying many times, many people would need these services, but they don't know. So also, let us spread the word. Let us spread the word. If you fear somebody, the son, the daughter, or even you yourself, they are going through some situation and mtu anasema, I don't know what to do. That in itself is a statement that tells you, you need the services of a coach. Sometimes we are called in to talk, and we go and we ask the parent, where are we going to do the talking? And when you point out to some of the places that you can go, like for example, we are still using some counseling services here in Nakuru, or like Rafiki just here at 58 counseling center. You tell them, can we meet there? What do they do? They tell you, no, let's meet at this hotel. And sometimes after they have talked to you, they think that they have done you a favor if they meet the bill of tea and the snacks. She never sent me to say this. She didn't even know that I was going to say. I have just said it is not cheap to train as a coach. It is professional. If you go to a place, you see a doctor, and at the end you pay professional fees, let us also be ready and willing to support the coaches that are there with professional fees. May the Lord bless you. For Abby, I once had people say life starts at 40. And I'm here sure that yours is just starting. Coaching is challenging, as I'm sure that you have experienced within the 1 year, but it's also very fulfilling. Not merely because of the money that you get, but when you hear a testimonial like Edna and Gertrude, that there is somebody who was stuck somewhere, they are no longer stuck. It's very, very fulfilling. May the Lord help you as you continue to carry out your divine mandate in a godly manner and in a divine manner, and may the labor of your hands be blessed, and God continue to expand you, not only to become famous, but to become effective, because those two are different sometimes. So, but may you also be famous. There is nothing wrong with becoming famous. The Lord bless you. God bless you, our MC.
Thank you so much, sir.
We appreciate Coach Mwalimu for sharing so much insight and wisdom with us. Viewers, I believe that helps you to have deeper clarity on what coaching really is. Feel free to sign up. Check our description box for contact details. Look out for part 3 of what I had to say and the final celebrations. Thank you so much for watching. Please remember to like, share and subscribe to our channel. God bless you.